What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We're starting a new series today where we're going to be building out a macro tracker so you gym bros can track your macros. This is somewhat how the app is going to look. There's still a lot more that's going to be added here. This is just an initial mock-up. But basically the way it's going to work is you're going to be able to add your macros in here for like a meal. And it's actually going to be connected to OpenAI. They have a pretty neat feature called function calling, where you can pass in some information and it'll actually return you a JSON. And in our case, we're gonna ask it to return us the carbs, the fats, and the proteins for a given food item. We're gonna be using SwiftData as well in this to store these amounts. And this UI will probably change. This is just an initial mock-ups again. So yeah, if this is something you guys are interested in, then follow along with the series and comment down below what you would like to see changed or any features you want. Because again, the series hasn't fully been snapped out. I just know that we're gonna be able to track our macros and enter new entries using OpenAI. All right, let's get into some coding. So let's get started with the project. So we're gonna hit create new project. Make sure you're on iOS app. And we're gonna call this macro tracker. All right, SwiftUI, Swift. We'll bring in, I'll show you. So macro tracker, make sure you have your name set up. SwiftUI, make sure you have SwiftData, so you will need Xcode 15 for this. By the time this comes out, it might already be live, but I'm still using the beta. So you want to check all of these and then you hit next and just create it. Boom, and then we get a bunch of mumbo jumbo from Xcode. And we can, to be honest, we can just delete this. We can delete this. And this item, we can leave this in here, to be honest. It's not bothering anybody. But we're going to create a new file, SwiftUI. And we will call this macro view. And let's see. Let's change this to macro view. Cool. So for this first part, we're just going to be setting up some UI stuff. So for our UI, we're going to want a VStack. And at the top, what do we want? I want an HStack, which I hate when the formatting comes out like that, to be honest. I don't like it. So I'm gonna just do this one, and there we go. Let me make this bigger for you guys. So we're gonna HStack, and we're gonna place at the top. We want the, what is it? The carbs, the fats, and the proteins. So let's see, text. So that'll be in the HStack, right? We'll have the carbs, the fats, and the proteins. And for each of those, I want a VStack, and this is gonna take some getting used to. So we want a VStack for each of those. And let's see, let's do just carbs. I'm gonna copy this, paste that 2 times. Fats, protein. Cool. Now let's fix our formatting though. So to do this, I like to go right here to the frame, set a max width dot infinity and a max height of dot infinity. And we need to add an alignment. Not dots, but an alignment of dot top. That pins it to the top, and this is good. Let's add some padding to this. And I want a spacer in between all of these. Cool. I might even want one right here. Actually, yeah, that looks really good. That'll look good. And now let me see. I'm gonna bring in some images. Give me a second. All right, so I grabbed some images from the internet, and I actually use this website here. Let me display it. This is where I go to grab images sometimes. They have pretty good icons to use in your apps. Could also maybe use Midjourney and something like that, or Canva. I'll put a download link for these in the description in case you guys want these. And let's remember the name. So this is just carbs, fats, and proteins. So we're going to want to display the image above them. So we'll say image. And you call this one, and it's lowercase carbs. And we want this resizable, scale to fit. And let's give it a frame. Width of, let's try 100 might be good. Let's see what 100 looks like. 60. 60 might be the way to go. Let's copy this and bring in all the other images. So the image goes on top actually. So let me see this, and this one is fats. I put farts. I don't know, typo. All right, and then we have proteins. Ooh, I like it. I like it. The alignment here looks a little off though. I think it might be just the image itself. But we will carry on. And let's actually add a background. Let's see how this looks. Rounded rectangle, corner radius of like 10. So that's how that looks. And then we have a fill. Do like dark gray with an opacity of 0.2. And we'll have to add some padding to make this look good. There we go. Although, how would this look on all of them? Not bad. I might change the opacity to 0.1 actually though. And this looks nice actually. Oh. And then the next thing we would be missing is something like this, which would be like 10 grams. That's a lot of fats. This is not accurate. This is not made for, I don't even know what kind of meal that would be. Or diet that would be. But all right, so yeah, this looks good. And this is gonna be the macro count for today's date. And underneath this, so underneath it, and this is for the H stack, right? So underneath this, we will have another V stack. And I'm just gonna create a text for it, and this will be previous meals. And you could go with previous meals or previous days. We'll see how we end up going with. We'll see what we end up going with later down in the series. Haven't fully decided. And with this though, you could, we want this to be a font, large title. Actually, that's kind of too big. Title. Yep, and let's do an alignment of leading. And oh my God, I don't like that. I don't like that. Why? Xcode 15, why? All right, let's see. Does that shift it? Or do we have to do something else? All right, so that doesn't shift it. So what we can do is we can add a frame, max width dot infinity, and an alignment of top leading here. Boom, and we can add some padding. There we go. And we can change this to previous. Cool, cool, cool. And if we want, we can add a text here. Today's macros. Font dot title. And so there's a, when you want to move this, like let's say we have a text here, we want to move it to the left. There's a few ways you can go about it, to be honest. Like, cause we could make a max width here of dot infinity, and we call alignment dot leading, and that'll do it. But we would need some padding, or you could add it to this V stack here, which we already did, but you would just have to change this to top leading. And that looks like the best course of action since we already have that. Let's see. Nope, that doesn't work. So that means that this alignment should be dot leading then. Command B. Ah, I see. All right, so that's the one way of doing it. The other way is changing the alignment of the V stack to be dot leading. And if we get rid of this, see if we comment this out. Yep, it stays. So that's good. And actually, I believe this should be leading now. There we go. So that gets rid of the need of this V stack, the frame. Cool. And we can probably extract this into its own view. So let's do that. Let's say new file, view. We'll call this macro item view. All right, and what do we need to do? We need to grab all this stuff here. And actually, we can leave the padding. Basically, have to grab the H tag. So let's make sure we're doing that. Yep. We can leave the padding because that way it'll give you a little bit of flexibility. If maybe down the line you don't want padding on one thing, and if we bring in the padding, we're gonna be kind of stuck with our implementation. All right, state var. We're gonna create a bunch of state vars. Call this carbs. And actually, we want these to be binding because they can change, and we want it to be passed in from above. So they're all gonna be ints. Although I guess you could have a double, right? Because you can have like 10.8 grams, but I feel like for our app, I mean, you can do that, right? But I'm just gonna go with an int because I don't want to deal with decimals. They look a little ugly. They look a little ugly. But you can do that. All you would have to do is change this to a double, and that'd be it. Now we're using string interpolation to put the carbs in here. And I'm just going to paste this. Make sure you change this to fats, though. And then make sure you change this to proteins. Cool. And then we want to bind these, and then constant value. Just put a random number. That's a lot. I don't know why I go super high in fats. I try not to eat that many fats. I try to stay low carbs, low fats. All right. Cool. Now we can delete this and let's see if this works. Macro item view. But now we need actually to create these vars. So let's say state var carbs. That's a lot of carbs, but that's for today. Maybe today was a big why did I put the same number? State var. Just do the cardinal sin and just just have a little bit of protein. All right, and let's see proteins. Hey, there we go. There we go. Crazy macro day. All right, so this is working. And cool. And then for previous, all I want to do for and this is all for like for setting up our UI. And this may change, all right? I messed up. Cut that. All right, so for this section, I'm going to create just a for each. And let's create some mock data. Actually, we don't even need to create a mock data. So I'm going to do from 0 to, I don't know, let's do like 10. And we don't care about this number. And I believe I missed a dot. Let's see, how about now? There we go. So this is just for our data. And they have to be binding. I think it should still work. Let's see, macro item view. And we're gonna do constant. And I believe we can call int random. There we go. From 10 to like, I don't know, like less than 200. And we're gonna paste these in for all of them. And looks like I'm missing a parentheses, or maybe I added an extra one. Oh, I'm missing a parentheses here. There we go. Yeah, make sure you you actually copy this whole thing with the parentheses. We refresh this and holy moly. Let's add some padding. And we need to embed the VStack. Hit command click. Oh no, did it change? Oh, I can just right click on it now. Embed. And we embed it in a scroll view. And get rid of this content section. Show this, set this equal to false. I don't like the scroll indicator being shown. And boom. This is cool. But now you'll see that our previous is not being our previous isn't being let's add alignment here. So our previous isn't being shown at the leading anymore. So let's add a leading to the AV stat. There we go. And let's get rid of this padding. See how this looks, I kind of like that without padding. Oh, it's because we have padding here. So you can remove this padding. There we go. Remove that padding and then just add this single padding. And there we go. And you could remove the scroll view from here. Like if you wanted all of it to be in a scroll view, be careful with your So just let's just be careful with our curly braces when we do this. So I'm gonna cut this. Actually, don't even copy and paste because you're gonna mess, like, I'm probably gonna mess up here. So what you do is you get rid of the scroll view and we fix our formatting. And now let's just put this whole thing in a scroll view. That'll probably look better. Bring that in and close that. Also, what was that warning? It will be deprecated. Use scroll view initializer and the scroll view indicators without modifier. Oh. So it looks like it's going to be deprecated. So let's see. Let's use this one. Let's refresh our preview. Boom, and this is cool. Oh, and one thing I didn't notice or talk about is the random names. So yeah, we get random stuff. And and one thing I realized too, we haven't like, of course this is not done because we haven't, like, the person doesn't know what this belongs to. These are just previous. So maybe you could have dates. But again, we're just still getting set up. This is coming along nicely though. Yeah, the scroll view shows. So I think we can scroll view disable. We call this now, and then we could say hidden. All right, so they just they're changing the way we hide the scroll view. Not too crazy. Cool. Now I want to add a toolbar. I hate this. So I want to add a toolbar. So you can really just call it toolbar and then curly braces, and believe you call toolbar item. And the item will be an image, system name, and I believe we can just call plus. And we need to say toolbar visibility for visible for the navigation bar. This isn't showing. This isn't showing. And so we need to do the toolbar. Let's see if we put this in a navigation stack, it shows up now. So that's what we'll do. We'll embed this in a navigation stack. You can just add navigation stack, hit Command B. And now, since it's in a navigation stack, we don't need to do that in our preview. And this is where we're gonna add new, so this actually should be a button. Button, so we're gonna cut this out. We're gonna call button action and a label. The action, Xcode Y. So we can call button like this, and then we call label, and we put the image in label. And for the action, print add. And we can change the fill, I believe. We can change the foreground color of this image to dot black. And we were having a warning, so let's see what it says. For now, we have to use foreground style. Oh, let's see. So does this handle dark and light mode? Nope. That's interesting. So we're just gonna use black for both of these. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up here for now. I just wanted to go through setting up the UI, and we can run this on the simulator too to see how it looks. I have it connected to my phone. Let's run it on a simulator. Make sure everything's good. Let's fix some of our formatting here. And pull up the simulator. All right, yep. Looks good to go. And we're printing add here. So I just wanted to really quickly get set up with some UI. And in the next video, we're actually going to bring in OpenAI and start handling what we're going to do when we want to add a new macro. So the way it's going to work is OpenAI has something called function calling, which will actually return you some JSON depending on what the user sends. And you can set up your API, and the way you can set it up in your app basically, where whatever the user enters here, it's going to be sent to, assuming they enter a food, right? Assuming they enter food, it's going to be sent to OpenAI, and they'll be like, all right, this is food. So it's going to get the macronutrients of it and return that to you. We'll be doing that next video. I'll see you guys there. Peace.